Hi, I'm Noelle, and we are giving our house a facelift. We've lived here about 15 years, so we're ready for a change, and I've got some great ideas. I've always had this dream of putting patina metal on the outside of the house. I can't find anyone who will do it, so we have been doing research and practicing, and we're going to do it ourselves. We are going to pull off the stone, and we're going to put metal in its place, leave a little bit of stucco, and then put a little bit of wood, and revamp the whole thing. What we've decided on is a cold rolled steel. We're going to hang it vertically. This is 12 inches wide, which is what was recommended. This is going to take a patina really nicely. Here are some samples of the cold rolled steel. And we've been practicing with Sculpt Nouveau products and then also with Steel FX. And we have realized that the Sculpt Nouveau reacts a little bit slower and has a longer processing time. So we're going to use that product on these bigger pieces because we want the blues and the purples. We don't want it to turn black. And loving what we got here. This is copper plate with torch over the top, which is supposed to give a rainbow effect, and that's what we want. The good thing about these patinas is that they are a cold process, so you do not need to heat the metal. The best temperatures are 65 to 75 degrees. We're going to be a little bit hotter here today, but we have set up some canopy or some tents so we can keep things shady. And also we're setting up our stations in the garage so it can be cool, and then also we can have a little airflow, which is what we need with working with chemicals. We are going to set up a washing station just on the outside of the house where we're going to wash off the metal, any sort of grime or oil or anything that's on there. Then we're going to have a station where we do the patina, we do the copper, we do the torch over the top. Then we need to rinse it to stop the chemical reaction, and then we're going to put the ColorLoc product by Sculpt Nouveau over the top, and then seal it with clear guard. With no rain in the forecast, we moved the raw steel out of the garage and into the side yard to make space for all of the work to come.
This is a skateboard ramp, not a sawhorse.
It's a skateboard ramp and a sawhorse. We hung plastic to protect all of the items and surfaces in the garage. I would also recommend putting plastic down on the ground to protect that too. So we rented 3 Airless sprayers, so each can have its own dedicated, like the copper plate can have its own sprayer, the torch can have its own sprayer, and then the clear guard could have its own sprayer. So we just tested all of those, made sure they were clean, flushed them ourselves because they weren't clean when we got them, and I think this is really going to expedite the process. Chemical time. It's time to mask up, cover your eyes.
I'm gonna go put a long sleeve shirt on.
There you go.
Yeah.
Remember, I am not an expert or claiming to be an expert in patinas. In fact, I'm very much a beginner. This is my journey with applying patina to cold rolled steel for our house. I hope this experience and what we learned along the way will help you with your next project. The metal comes with a layer of oil and likely a fair amount of dirt. Washing and rinsing off that layer is absolutely essential to the reaction of the patina. Dish soap works best to wash off this layer. Dish soap diluted in water. Don't squeeze the dish soap directly onto the metal because it will leave a permanent mark behind. A day into the project, we added a pressure washing rinse step for the washing process, just to be safe. Good practice would be to wash with dish soap and abrasive sponge, then pressure wash, and repeat that process at least once on each piece. Rinse well and dry the metal completely and thoroughly. Paper towels were recommended, but we used a stack of clean towels. We used towels only once before grabbing a new towel for the next piece of metal. After thoroughly washing the metal, we are ready to apply the patina.
This is our first full-size piece that we're gonna try.
We go through a few attempts here, and I'm going to let them run in real time so you can get an idea of the timing of the process and the results. In the Sculpt Nouveau product guide, it says to apply the copper plate patina to the bare steel and then allow it to react for about a minute. Then apply the torch patina to the still wet and reacting copper plate. The more even this patina is applied, the more of an even finish will develop. As you can see, it doesn't always turn out perfect, and we spent a good amount of time scratching our heads and trying to figure out what went wrong. Our first thought was that the paint sprayer wasn't completely cleaned out and leftover paint particles were coming through with the torch. Here we tried to apply more copper plate over the top. Not a good idea. Don't do this. Our next thought, after we went through a few more pieces of metal, was that they hadn't been washed well enough and that there was oil in the way of a chemical reaction.
I think this one's clean.
I think it might be this one. Okay.
Watch how close or far away we are with the torch when we spray on this reacting layer. The more mottled the patina is applied, the more mottled look will develop.
But too much water is like leaves.
Then allow the torch patina to react for as long as needed, from 1 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, I don't mind the lighter parts. Okay, I think, what do you guys think? Oh yeah, there you go. Oh yeah. Okay,
Good?
I think so. Okay. Okay. Ooh, yeah, look at that. Oh yeah, we're getting good.
That one, the nozzle's the other way, so you should probably do it like this. You'll get the wide.
Oh, got you.
you'll get
Okay,
the
so
wide
this
part.
way.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was thinking, okay, if it's like this, it goes, okay.
Yeah, they're opposite. Okay, so maybe we switch them tomorrow for this one.
Okay.
Okay, ready? You want to get the water ready?
Yep. You can get closer. So I can out it. What do you think?
What do you think? Any spots that need it?
Okay. Okay. You do it?
Yeah.
Probably going to turn the bucket.
You ready with the water?
Yeah.
I'll just start with the one in case I run out.
Okay.
think?
Tight. I'm going to give it a second so you can get some more balls in here.
Want some more right here?
There you go. Good. Give me that right there.
Okay, let's do this one.
Okay. Good.
Whoa. This one has a problem.
Oh, I didn't get enough pepper. Well, let's finish it, because there's going to be some, well, I would just stop right down. There's going to be some pieces that'll need to be like under the window and stuff, or this is this one. Oh, geez.
Did this one get lost?
Yeah? Let's do a different. Go back up, huh? Like you said before?
We're trying to troubleshoot what the problem is, if it's the degreaser that we used, or if it's the copper plate is going on too thick and it's not adhering to the metal, so it just flakes off and there's not that chemical reaction we're looking for. So we're kind of taking some steps back, trying to figure out exactly what the problem is. Would you like to guess what the real problem was? I will save you all the anxiety and frustration we felt and answer this critical question. The main problem was the wind. At the most important stage of this project, we should have been applying the copper plate, at the very least, inside the garage. A good plan would have been to carry the copper plate covered steel outside to apply the torch and then rinse in the driveway. Where we live, the wind kicks up most afternoons, a hot, dry wind, and sure enough, that was when we began having the most problems. After finally talking to Sculpt Nouveau on the phone, a little bit later, they imparted that the copper plate patina is very sensitive and finicky, and wind will definitely make a difference when it comes to the patina reacting to the metal. With the worst mess-ups, we decided to Scotch-Brite off the failed patina and see if we could start from scratch. The metal definitely had changed, and we couldn't get the initial colorful results the second time around. As you can see in this brown piece, we tried to patina after sanding. In the end, it worked out fine, and it's hard to see it as a mistake after it was hung on the house. It blends in with all of the other colors and patterns. So we're on day 2. Working through some issues. Instead of just dumping it into the bucket, we're going to run it through this cheesecloth, which hopefully should pull out all that sediment and keep the filter clean. All right, let's get real for a second. What we have discovered is that the torch patina that goes on top of the copper has a lot of sediment in it, and it all just sinks to the bottom. Well, it has seriously been messing with this paint sprayer because it's not meant for chemicals. We're stopping the use of that for the torch, and we're gonna try these spray bottles. It doesn't work very efficiently for the long pieces of metal, and so we're gonna try a chemical sprayer like the ones you use for Roundup. It's meant for chemicals. Hopefully we can get a little bit more even of a layer. You can see here on day 2 the wind in the background. So it's actually very interesting and a little bit funny that this swirly pattern turned out just fine, with no patina flaking off at all. But this was not the case with most pieces, and we should have moved inside. Even now, with the project completed, it's hard to know what exactly went into a completely perfect panel and why others failed. Let's move on to the next and very easy step, applying the ColorLoc. When the patinas have been allowed to dry, the color looks muted and yellowish green, but don't worry. The purpose of ColorLoc is to bring out and protect the colors that are formed by the torch patina. When the metal has completely dried after going through the patina process, then you can spray on the ColorLoc. This product is only available in 12-ounce aerosol cans, which was disappointing and felt very wasteful, but it's absolutely necessary to locking in the colors. Hopefully, it will be available by the gallon someday. We were spraying the ColorLoc on inside the garage, but this definitely could have been done outside under the tent. Make sure that the ColorLoc dries completely before you move on to the final step. The final phase is applying the clear guard. This is a durable, UV-stable, air-drying lacquer that results in a hard, fast-drying, and tarnish-resistant film. It works well when applied with the Airless sprayer. We chose a matte finish, which was a very good idea since the metal is by nature very reflective. Once the clear guard was finished drying, we stacked the finished pieces in our shipping container workspace, for lack of a better place to store the pieces, out of the sun and rain, until they were ready to be installed. We were using scrap fabric between layers, carefully stacking the metal right sides together. This may have been overkill, but with as much time as we have put into this whole process, it felt essential. You definitely want to be careful to not scratch the metal at this point. Finally, it was time to install the metal. Thankfully, I didn't do this part myself, but it was still a new material for the residential contractor that I hired. We worked together, mostly me micromanaging the job and where every piece was placed based on patterns, colors, and panel lengths. I laid out all the panels in the driveway so I could get a good look at all of the patterns and keep an eye on different lengths. These panels definitely have a left and right side as they lock together, so that was a factor we had to keep track of when cutting the roof angles. Make sure to order at least 15 to 20% more metal than you need. There will be mistakes and reject pieces, and depending on how much sanding you want to do, you might want to scrap and recycle the worst mistakes. Everything I learned about trim when hanging metal came from another very helpful YouTube video. I will put a link in the description. I mixed in the pieces we had fixed with sanding and then put the less than perfect panels where they weren't as visible. I hope this video was useful in learning more about applying patina to larger pieces of metal. It certainly was fun, also a lot of work, but mostly fun. In the description, I will leave a list of the products that I used and where you can find them. We are very happy with the final product and love to look at the metal at different times of the day and in different lights. The look is always changing. Thank you so much for watching.